Ready to go.
Alrighty, ladies and gents, welcome to the Pound for Pound Armwrestling show. We got Lockie, we got Tom, we got Jordan once again, and a big show for you tonight. We've just had, of course, the top 8 round 2.
Yes.
Gents, it was pretty good, wasn't it? But before we get there, how's everyone's week? Lockie, you got
Week's
any
been
good stories?
good. Yeah, I've hit a couple of big PRs this week. It's been nice. I got 72.5 kilos of real weight and side pressure for 3 on my left arm. Right arm's still getting there. We got up to 60 kilos yesterday, actually, so that was cool. Got a 5 rep max on back pressure at 80 kilos. Like I said, that poor cable machine, I'm taking it well beyond what it says is the limit.
Dude, we need to re-weld those things.
Yeah, they're all bad.
How far over the maximum weight rating are you on the thing?
Well, the back pressure at 100 kilos that I got a couple of weeks ago was 200 kilos on the cable. It felt a bit stretchy before it moved, but, you know.
Doesn't it say max weight 120 on that thing?
Yeah.
Tom, how you been, man?
Yeah, good, mate. I did a PB on the right as well with a bit of side pressure.
Nice.
I was doing 75 kilos.
Mm-hmm.
And then I checked myself and realised that it was a half weight. And it was only like 30 kilos. And I went, what the far out?
Of course.
Fully disappointed. But, what the hell? I was going to post it and everything.
Don't worry. I'm sure Jordan can't beat that anyway with side pressure.
I'm sure he did.
Hand control king over here. How's your side pressure going?
I need a cricket. It's at about what did I try the other day? 18 kilos, and then halve it.
Oh no! Surely not. Surely
You know,
not.
our cable
That's
machine
my
doesn't
world, brother.
work
It's all good.
unless you've got 20 kilos on it. Like, it doesn't run unless there's 20 on it.
I think I'm getting an assist anyway, so I'll just...
Oh, that's
yeah,
tragic.
no,
Oh,
but
boy.
No, my hand's good.
Yeah, no.
You'd hope so.
Got a new PB in straight back pressure with the rolling handle.
Nice.
So I'm feeling really good.
Which was?
I did 45 with dead flat hand.
Nice.
So
Nice. I remember when Devin Larratt was here. You had a draw with him, didn't you? On that Mazarenko handle.
Yep.
You and Devin.
Yeah.
Both.
So I've got Adam Stefanik's rolling handle, flat, straight back. So
That's pretty solid. Well, you guys know we've got next week on the show. We're going to have Todd Hutchins here at the table with us.
Godzilla.
How good is that going to be?
Yeah.
The
We
true
need a big-
side pressure king. And,
we need a bigger table.
yeah, and you guys are all invited to come and do a training session at my place where we're going to test out side pressure for real with the side pressure king present. So get
I'm
ready.
gonna hold the camera.
If you need to get familiar on these handles, you need to be familiar because it's going to be embarrassing if not.
I just started a brand new program today with Giannis.
Tell Giannis, it's all off. It's all off. We got Toddzilla coming.
How's your week been, Ryan?
Man, my week's been good. I today have been talking to solicitors and bankers and real estate agents. Put an official offer forward on the first ever Pound for Pound Armwrestling dedicated facility.
Sweet.
Yes.
And it has been accepted. So we just got to, as long as the bank comes through, we're going to have an ESPN standard studio and tournament arena. Very, very close. Maybe even like next week, we might even be able to have the keys and we might do the show in the vacant industrial lot that we've got.
Yeah.
Oh, that look pretty sweet.
That would be very cool.
Yeah, that's going to be
that's been-
completely awesome.
That's been my week. Other than that, training, it's just the regular almost hit a double PR on side
PR.
pressure. I actually think I did, but you.
Oh, wait, I
it's
saw that.
sketchy.
There was some controversy there. Yeah.
There was a bit of controversy. I don't know if it was lift or not, but anyway, it was good. It was, even if it wasn't, it was like right there. So
At best, you stretched the cable machine a little bit, so that's a win, right?
But anyway, it has been good. But I stayed up and I watched the top 8 the other night. I did the pay-per-view. And hey, just before we get to the matches, the pay-per-view, 11,000 pay-per-view at $25.
How good is that for arm wrestling?
Yeah.
Like,
And what were they saying WAL was?
I don't know what WAL's pay-per-view
like
numbers are.
$3.
$3 something. What are they doing up?
Yeah. But how good is that? That's what, 275,000 or something like that? in revenue just from pay-per-view that night.
Yeah.
That's exciting. That's really exciting.
I mean, arm wrestling is really spreading, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Rapidly too.
It is.
Yeah, and credit to the Don, Igor Mazurenko. He's,
Yeah,
say what you like, he's doing a lot for the
Yeah.
sport, so that's it's pretty
Absolutely.
exciting.
He's a Hall
absolutely.
of Famer without a doubt, the Don.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
top 8 was looking pretty mint.
Yes. So the
Some
matches...
good matches.
Yeah.
Before we dive specifically into the matches, we had Bresnan v. Babayev, Trubin v. Kadecha, Sanganishvili v. Ongabayev, Lalaiten v. Prudnik.
Did you practice that?
Say
That's
again?
impressive. Did you practice that?
I've said those names enough that I think, yeah.
Rolled off the tongue really well.
Sanganishvili. Most people can't do Sanganishvili.
No.
But there were some good matches, and it's set up an amazing final chapter as well. We got some really cool matches to come. But Bresnan v. Babayev. What did you guys see there? Bresnan got his revenge. He won 6-0 after losing 4-2 to
Up the
him
old
last
man.
time.
How good is that? Huh?
No,
How good is that?
What is he? 55.
I don't know.
I think
Yeah,
I think he's older.
Yeah, he's around
Around
that age.
there.
The boys were saying
He's
55.
old.
So man, I've still got a little bit of hope to get
Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah.
Not there, but
Well,
somewhere.
yeah, I think
10 years.
he's
10 years?
the.
Yeah, 10 years.
I think he's the latest starting elite that there is currently out there. He started in his mid-40s,
Well, okay.
and he's now where he's at now. So it's it's not too late, man.
You just got to find a style, Tomo, that's just
And
Yeah.
stick to it.
yeah.
Well, all old men end up being pronating draggers.
Yeah.
And this guy's got the pronation. He just needs to connect the drag, and then he's virtually Tim Bresnan.
It's getting there. It's getting there. And like I said, I'm starting to realise that it's more than just that.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to use more than that.
Yeah. But Tim Bresnan has been he was the sole American in the top 8 this season.
Which really is the only thing that makes top 8 not just the top Euros.
Yeah.
The fact that Tim Bresnan there kind of sort of not really makes it top 8 in the world. Otherwise, it's just Europe.
Yeah, no doubt North America has some outstanding pullers as well.
Yeah.
If we could somehow get to a PAL v WAL thing, that'd be amazing. And I think we're actually going to talk about that specifically later in the
Maybe
show.
a pound for pound thing.
I don't know if I could convince
Meet in the
Igor and WAL to do that. Steve Kaplan, I don't know, maybe. But hey, I'd be for it. I'll facilitate it in the Brisbane facility. Let's do it.
Yeah.
But did you see anything, Jordan, in the match that stood out to you?
Just back pressure dominance.
Yep.
Just Tim looked so good. Just controlling Babayev. Like, Babayev got close with a couple of, he got his wrist for probably the first round, maybe a bit in the second, but the rest, Tim just had him flat or back. So, and Babayev was always forward.
Yeah.
Always. That was the main thing that I saw.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if Tim was going to be able to finish. I think Tim's a great defensive puller, but what impressed me most was that Tim had the ability to, even from because he's an open arm top roller, let's face it. Yep. He's out here, stop. He had the ability to transition to a press even from that open arm. He didn't need to get tight.
Yeah, that seems like a new thing. But I feel like the first match with Babayev, he wanted to see if he could hang in a hook. Like this time there was a lot more hand control.
Hand control, I think, was the key with him this time.
And you can see him just working at his wrist. And he kept Babayev underneath him the whole time. So it was a different tactic. Maybe he learned, or he's just gone, I'm just going to go back to what I was doing. And
Yeah.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Yeah. Well done, Tim Bresnan. The next match we had was Dmitry Trubin up against Alex Kadecha. It looked pretty dominant, 6-0. I think it kind of highlighted that Kadecha's still new to the game.
Yeah, when you go against someone your own size in Dmitry Trubin.
Yeah, much more experienced.
He hit some weird angles, though. There was some weird, I'm just going to hang, down here, but, at this super tight angle for a little while and just
You reckon it was just to try and burn him out?
I reckon it was to not flash him because flashing's kind of boring.
I think he was actually just making sure he got the pin himself. He was in the pin line. Yes, it's a pin. Look, I can see it.
I don't need the ref. I'll call it.
Yeah. It looked like a pretty much straightforward victory. I mean, I think Kadecha's pedigree, he's only been fully dedicated to the sport for I think about 3 years. He's obviously a huge and explosive guy. 5 years?
Yeah, 5 years.
Still, he's
But
got
still,
to be
that's
5
in
years,
your
like-
infancy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that there's a lot more upside to Alex Kadecha still to come as he matures in the sport. And I think that he'll be back for sure. But I mean, we are going to see him again. But in the
You reckon
final
we'll see him
round.
next year?
Well,
think
there's still
he-
one more round to go.
Yeah, one more round. But
And
next year
he's
he
in
might
the
get
ultimate.
axed.
He's in the ultimate loser battle with Babayev.
Yeah.
Who's going to take that? Who's going to be the
Ultimate
ultimate?
loser battle.
Who's going to be the ultimate loser, Babayev or Kadecha? I love that match more than any other match. Just the hatred of being titled the ultimate loser in the top 8.
We might see
I think
ugly positions.
He might end up in the bottom 8. With them
We'll see
alone.
next year.
We need to have a trade-off. Bottom 8 to top 8 transition.
That's your dream come true, hey?
Yeah, that buys me a ticket straight in.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think I'm ready.
4-2 on that. But
Ooh, which way?
He's got straightaway stats.
yeah, it'd be Babayev. I think he'll get it. I think just the
Experience.
experience will do him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I think
I'll
Babayev
go with
takes
that.
it.
No, I'm
Yeah.
going to go Kadecha. Same score, though. I
Cool.
think
Sure.
Bayev
Alright.
will get the first 2, but he's got that top roll and he's got the height.
Yeah, but like Babayev's been dealing with top rollers who are bigger
Yeah,
than
all
him
his
for a
life.
long time. So, you know,
Yeah.
and
Too much speed from Babayev. A hand of iron, just bang, it's going to be in.
yeah.
Kadecha's going to go, what am I doing?
You just got to be difficult.
I'm going to be difficult. Someone's got to have a differing opinion.
Gents, back on to the matches that we did see. We then had one of the biggest matches of the night, which was competing in the semi-final of the top 8, Levan Sanganishvili up against Kridgali on Garboyev. I think it went as we expected, didn't it?
Yeah.
Mismatch. But, you know, credit to Kirigali. He gave it some stank. In true Kazakhstani style too. Just if there's nothing in the side there, I'm just gonna hang out here and
Yeah.
and have a couple of cracks. And I don't think Levan, he just kind of held on to him like Shrek and just it was really average arm wrestling, I think. But you know, when you're that big and strong, I guess you can, right? So,
Yeah. I actually saw a lot in the match there. I watched it pretty much from the angle of knowing and expecting Levan was going to win, but I saw gaps and cracks in Levan's game that I think Vitali will exploit enormously when it comes to the final.
made that match more interesting, huh?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
we're all thinking maybe more Fatali. Like the polls, I think, are going to be might even tip towards Leighton now.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you guys see in the match?
You can go first, mate.
I'd say that obviously, like Levan was I think he was trying to take his time and feel something from Ongarbayev, and like really at the bottom of what Ongarbayev was capable of, he was like, yeah, no, I'm still better than that, and like Ongarbayev got as many cracks. Like he got elbow foul. Like if Levan was going to wear, you would have seen something towards the end. But
Ongarbayev's arm was just starting to bleed hard.
and
Just
as you
slipping
saw,
was
he's
hard.
like, I need a fresh muscle group.
Yeah.
Try something else.
Yeah.
But his hits were good.
Yeah.
You know, into the fingertips. Maybe he could have changed the angle and gone a little more. But
He hit all the right angles.
He
He did everything that was possible for him to do.
do you reckon that behind the scenes they maybe have asked, you know, like you're going to smash him, don't just flash it?
It was a pretty big display of dominance. Like, I don't even need to outthink you because you've seen him against his countryman, Kikvinia.
And
I know I just stumbled through that, and he's hit hard.
That's what I'm saying. It didn't look like he hit. He was just holding.
He was absorbing.
Maybe he was trying to make sure that he didn't like overexert himself. Like he put in more effort, but the effort relevant to like if he just strengthed up in outside of straps and just went, it might have just worked him that little bit harder doing that. So he's like,
Mind you, though, in the progression of side pressure that you've had and I've had, my elbows hurt just as much at 35 kilos, 45 kilos than it does at 70. Like, going straight sideways in a match, like if you don't have to, don't.
But it's something I want to talk about again specifically later on the show. But I saw cracks there that I'm dreaming Michael Todd being across the table from Levan, and I'm seeing Levan in trouble. But anyway, That's what I saw there.
Are you going to talk about these cracks?
Yeah, we'll talk about it later in the show when we're going to talk about a WAL v PAL potential matchup that Devin Larratt called for. I don't know whether it's possible, but I saw cracks there that makes it interesting to know who is the true number one in the world at the moment. I think there's three in the debate right now: Levan, Vitali, and Michael Todd. I'm assuming, of course, Michael beats Jerry, but I don't think Jerry could come close to any of those other guys.
Yep.
Wrong style, but Jerry's got the style for
the flop.
Yeah, I don't know.
Jerry?
I think the Layton would just steamroll over the top too.
Depends on what rules as well we're talking. Like if it's WAL, and Jerry gets to.
Yeah. Anyway, we will talk about that one later on the show. But the interesting thing now is what that means for the final round of the top 8, and the matchups that means. We mentioned earlier the ultimate loser is Kadecha v Babayev. Interesting match. For 5th and 6th place, we're going to see Trubin against Bresnan. Interesting match. 3rd and 4th, we're going to see Prudnik versus Ongarbayev. Great match. Both guys similar weight. And then obviously for the big money, $50,000 US dollars, I believe, Levan versus Layton. So very, very, very juicy match. So before we give the predictions for that one, I think we might take a break. And we got a new feature, the Puller Probe. Check out the Puller Probe, and we'll be right back after this short break.
Australia.
Favorite arm wrestler? Man, I would say.
In Australia.
Ryan Scott. Just because I want to hammer him.
Andrew Lee, because he's crazy on the table and was the best guy off the table.
Guntis. And it's just he's all round. I feel like he's all round and he's just the best. So Guntis.
In Australia, I would say Jesse Johnson. No one knows about him, and he's a freak.
Oh, I'm brick-footed. I'm so brick-footed.
No, I can't dance. We'll just leave it at that.
I can't dance, although people say I can, but this is all I got.
Not really, but
No, I stayed home. I'm in here. I'm in home. That's it.
No. Is that good enough? I hope it is.
I like the robot if I'm gonna do anything.
Movie quote. Oh my god. Are you going to be able to reduce this down while I'm thinking? Little click, 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 click.
Favorite movie quote would be.
We'll go Gilbert Grape. That'll work.
Get to the job.
It'll be an Adam Sandler movie. Just tap it in. Just tap it in. That's my favorite movie quote.
If it bleeds, you can kill it.
Ready to go!
Alrighty, ladies and gents, we are back. Pound for Pound Arm Wrestling Show. We are talking about the top 8 right now, and gents, let's just continue with it straight away. The top 8. Let's get a basic predictions show here for what's going to happen in the final round. As we mentioned earlier, we are going to see Kadecha v Babayev for the ultimate loser, Trubin v Bresnan for 5th and 6th, Prudnik v Ongarbayev for 3rd and 4th, and Levan Sanganishvili against Vitali Layton for the finals. Where do we want to start? The top or the bottom?
Bottom.
Start at the bottom, all right.
Yeah,
All right, the big guy and the little guy.
Who we
Tom,
got?
give it to me.
Yeah, hold on a second. Show me who it is.
We have
My
Alex
Babayev.
Kadecha against Babayev. Rustam Babayev from Ukraine.
I've got to go with the Ukraine, Babayev.
Yeah.
I like his style. I think he'll get in there and do his magic.
He's the smallest guy in the top 8.
But he's like a nugget, man.
Yeah.
He's
have any of you guys seen him in real life before?
There's a photo recently that he just looked like like a little Mac champ,
he's like a solid little nugget.
I've met him, and everything you think about him, it's even more.
Right.
He's smaller and more nuggety than you can imagine. But obviously,
what about height wise towards you?
No, he's like Grant Tolentino sort of sized, but he's like Grant, 10 years of beef on top of him.
That's obscene looking
good
human
luck to
being.
anyone that's opposite him.
Well, if Grant sticks at it and trains hard for 10 years, he'll turn into Babayev, essentially.
And supplements.
Yes.
No.
They're all natty in top 8.
Clean and green.
Yeah, definitely.
Worst case, maybe Suns.
Anyway. So, what does Kadecha have to do, Jordan, to actually make this happen?
What he usually does in most tournaments that I've seen him, he sets up low, he drives hard back, and then he just does a brilliant top roll. Like, for what Rustam is going to do, that should be exactly what he needs to do. Just go back to what he does normally in every video that I've seen him. So
you think he can top roll him all the way to the pad, or is he going to have to do some sort of press?
I think in the first couple, Rustam's going to get it, right? And it's going to be a battle where it's a flat hand.
Kind of like the Tim Bresnan battle?
Not quite the other side of the table.
Yep.
Yeah, where Rustam's gotten in, but Kadecha's gotten him out.
Yeah.
And then it's coming back, but Rustam runs out of...
Man, have you gone in a time machine or something? You displayed that exactly how it's going to go. Like, if it goes that way, man,
I don't know.
I see it in my head.
The size disparity is so big that, the potential is that Kadecha's arm's so long that he used to come right the way down for Rustam. And it's, at what point does that leverage advantage become a disadvantage when you got someone whose arm's this long and...
yeah. There's no question if Kadecha goes palm up, he's in trouble.
Yeah. But if he's forced to start at the back of his pad and... Rustam can be
You've still got options. Like, he's still got a huge drive sideways, so he can get Rustam out of his arm and then work on the hand from there.
But you look at the angles that Babayev has been training, it's that kind of diagonal side and back all at once, which is going to be really the perfect counter to someone who's so long and looking to top roll. Yeah, if he can force him down. And I think it's when the size disparity is that big, it might be easier to take him
Yeah,
up
true.
and under.
Yeah. I'm going like 5-1 Babayev. It's basically how I see it.
5-2.
5-2, you're going to get a seventh round. Nice.
4-2. Wow. Championship round for the ultimate loser.
Does not work. What are you going, Tom?
5-1, I think. Yep.
To Babayev?
Yeah. I think...
oh, my God.
He's just going to go opposite to what we're doing.
I'm going 4-2 Kadecha.
Of course you are.
Well, someone had to.
The world's most obtuse
Otherwise, Alex is not going to watch the show anymore. But anyway, Alex, good luck, man. Good luck. But I think Babayev will get this one. Gents, 5th and 6th, Trubin and Bresnan. Great matchup. I love this matchup. Very interesting. Two guys that I've never met before.
I'd say this for me is probably like my second favourite match. Like, out of it all, I wish these guys were battling it out at the top. Like there was something on the line for them. That way there was that much more passion in it. Because I think it's a great match regardless.
Yeah,
but
it's a good match.
If they could get motivated with a little bit more passion, it could be the match of the night.
I think they will. But they'll be crazy if they're not because the world's watching.
Yeah,
and I think everyone's going to be excited, to be honest. But I see this as a match where Trubin takes it off center and gets close, and Tim Bresnan just digs in on that strap and just has to wear a lot of offensive surges from Trubin, and then fatigue starts happening to both of them. And Trubin, that position that we saw Trubin in against Kadecha, won't work against Bresnan. It's going to be a battle that's going to last maybe that's a half an hour match, easy over 6 rounds.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I think Bresnan's going to get it.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for it. The old guys.
The thing is, Trubin's taller than Bresnan, so he's going to have to protect his wrist as well, a lot more than he has in his previous matches where he hasn't had to fight for that. He's just got to focus purely on pronation. Now he's got to worry about, this towering dude, Trubin. He's like 6'5" or something. He's actually really tall.
He's big now. Like he's got to be pushing 150 by the time we saw him at top 8.
Yeah.
He looked like he filled around out in the middle. Like he went through that stage where he was just yoked, and now he's
solid.
He's just a solid barrel.
How heavy is Brisbane?
He's probably 130 or something like that.
You reckon he's 130?
No, maybe 120. I don't know.
No.
Yeah, he's pretty thick though, isn't he?
I'd say closer to 140.
You reckon?
Really?
Yeah.
Tim, let us know. What are you?
Let us know.
How heavy are you? Let's take a ticket. What did you say? You said 140.
140.
What did you say? You went like 95 or something, didn't you?
No, I reckon.
You said 120.
Oh, yeah, closer to 120.
Man,
yeah.
I'm 116, and he's bigger than me.
Yeah, I'm going like
Yeah, but how tall is he?
130. I'll lock in.
He's 6'2", isn't he?
I don't know. Now we're getting all sorts of
Let's
crazy
find
stuff.
out. Ring us up.
Yeah, we should get Tim on the line, but I think it's about 4 a.m. in the US, right?
Oh, he'll be up. He'll be up. He'll be up under some,
So what's the call on this match? The prediction for you guys?
I really, really want Bresnan to win,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna have to go with Trubin.
Don't you do?
Doing it.
Yep.
Doing it.
Yeah.
I'm going Trubin, and I'm going 5-1 Trubin. Reason being, Trubin has managed to beat Michael Todd before, so he knows how to deal with open arm top rollers, and I think that's going to be the bottom line of it.
But Bresnan changed his technique from last year to this year against this last guy that he arm wrestled against. So he may study for this one as well.
Yeah, what Bresnan can do that Michael Todd doesn't is can force a hook. He can make the match go in. He doesn't just go to a King's move. So it's not going to be a simple matter of just getting over that. It's going to be like, don't move ready, go, set some deep cup, then the drag comes out. So there's a very
Open arm
top roll. We got to be careful.
Yeah, but it's a tight open arm top roll.
That's true. I mean, he's upright.
It's a much better version of a bad.
Yeah, I think like the King's move only becomes a King's move when it's that drop from being in your shoulder to looking for that extra little twist that you get right down there. But anything else before that's fine. It's just that ugly that happens when you drop below the table that truly makes the King's move look ugly.
Yeah.
But if you're inside of that, you're good. And that's where your Crazy Georges are, your Tim Bresnans are.
We should just edit just next King's move discussing just just Ryan's arm with the noise.
So I'm going to say 3-3.
3-3, I like it. Yeah. So
I think Trubin's going to get the first 2. Brisbane's going to come back with 3.
Yeah.
And then Trubin will get a last one with a dirty flop.
And then they'll go to the tiebreaker. I wonder if they got. I don't know. Do they have tiebreakers?
I'm going to give Trubin way more credit because, consider the people he's lost to. Come on, man. That's like Pushkar.
He was
Dennis.
Always right there.
So I think, like I said, I liked him, but I think he's going to get slammed. Trubin has had a rough trot with some really he's had some really high caliber matches, and he hasn't lost embarrassingly to those people either. Like, he's not being thumped. There's been a little something in there.
The last one he got thumped in was by Dave Chafee, but it's Dave Chafee at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Dave Chafee thumped him 6-0. Trubin.
Yeah.
I'm going 4-2.
Who? Bresnan.
Yeah.
The old man loyalty, eh?
I'm going to go 5-1 Trubin. 5-1
You
Trubin.
need some hope, don't you, Tom?
What'd you say?
3-3.
3-3, that's right. All
We're
right.
going 5-1.
I think it's going to be interesting either way. It's going to be one of the most anticipated matches of the evening. And I think, even though I think 5-1 Trubin, I think it's going to be a drawn-out 5-1. There's nothing going to be quick about any of those rounds. But I think, inevitably, Bresnan's going to be backed into a corner and he's not going to be able to get out of it.
Yeah, Tim isn't Dave, though, so...
Yeah. All right, so then we get into one of the better matches of the night. By better, I mean they're fighting for a higher position, 3rd and 4th, on Garbayev and Prudnik. These guys have battled before. They've exchanged world titles. I think Prudnik has a better record over on Garbayev, but so I'm told, like if the thing that stands out about Ongarboyev is that if you look at his most recent Zloty tour, he won the 100 kilo class and then he finished second in the overalls, beating, I think, correct me YouTube, I think he beat Vitaly Leighton and then lost to Levan in the final.
Mm.
Yes, and he belted people like Herman Stevens along the way and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Herman. The Shermanator. But anyway, so Ongarboyev Prudnik, how do you guys see that one going?
That's the first time they competed open weight, right?
Yeah.
Or was Lottie that was
Yeah,
weight
they've always been I think at 90 kilos or 95 kilos.
So I think Prudnik is just a bigger human
Mm.
than Ongarboyev. Gonna have to go Prudnik.
Mm-hmm.
He's just gotten way bigger than Ongarboyev hasn't changed.
Yeah, he looks the same. He does. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I mean sizes and everything, but Prudnik he knows that. He's just gotten big and strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You fellas?
Yeah, Prudnik.
Prudnik?
Yeah, I'd have to say 5'1" Prudnik. I think I've seen him develop that nice top roll that he's getting out, and I think if he can match up with Ongarboyev in the back pressure game, then he isn't going to be taken out when he goes for the hook because he can control with some back pressure. Then say, well, this is my game now.
I normally would just side with you all on that and say Prudnik, but there's something going on in the back of my head that's telling me to go on Ongarboyev.
Really? There's always got to be one.
Yeah, there's always going to be one.
I was just impressed on all of his most recent matches that he has a lot of wrist, a lot of pronation at the top, and I think that there's going to be something that he's very versatile. Of course, and all the guys at that weight are very versatile. He can pull in a hook as well. I know Prudnik's a master in the hook, but I just have this weird gut feeling that Ongarboyev's going to do it.
But he's going to do that, and he's just going to slip, and they're going to strap and
hook. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. But I mean, in the strap, I guess it does favour Prudnik, but I don't know. I think there might be something. Everyone's looking at me like, just shut up, Ryan, and say Prudnik. No. I've got. You need to live life a little, and I'm gonna.
So you put money down? Are you got a bet with John?
He's been getting them all right, man. So
I am. Hey, you're talking to Walstradamus here. There's been
Walstradamus.
Don't get me started on Nostradamus.
Gosh, man.
I already called out.
Set.
Who do I call out about Nostradamus getting it?
That was
reference wrong.
RBJ. Yeah. Spoiled Rob. But I feel, I'm on a roll. So you guys probably should listen.
We'll see with majority rules.
All right.
Yeah, we'll see.
Cool. All right. So the final, gents, is for $50,000 US. It's one of the matches the world has been waiting to see. That really gives us an indication of who is the top dog in the world rankings.
Who do you reckon needs the money more? Because we got Leighton's still a truck driver, so the more money he gets.
What is Big
Levan? I think he's just paid by Georgia for being a badass arm wrestler.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so but I guess he's got a lot of motivation then too to keep that.
True,
it's probably bonuses.
It's his match to lose, right? Levan's match to lose.
I think because he has been the popular opinion as the number one rank. And Vitaly has been sitting there at 2, I believe.
Yeah.
And the big guy should always win. That's the thing. Like, logically, the biggest guy wins, but it's not, the Leighton, he ain't
He's still
little.
a big guy.
He's still a big dude, and he doesn't look like much, but
no.
I can relate so much to what it's like to take on Vitaly Leighton, because every time I've taken on this guy here, it's the same, for me, horrible feeling of, I can't get my hand, and the more side pressure someone like that develops, it's a scary proposition when you can't get access to anything bar that, and then they're just teeing off with full access to side.
Yeah, and people that have met him just say on film he just looks like a tall skinny guy. Yeah, tall skinny guy, but in person
he's filled out so much,
and his arms are just like PVC pipes. They're massive. It's just they don't look like it on film. And I had the same thing when I went to WAF. kind of saw this guy on film on my weight class, and I thought, oh, I'm going to thump him. He's little. Walked past him and went, oh, okay, righto. You look 20 kilos heavier than you do on film. Yeah, and then got it.
So I feel like the popular kind of opinion is now that Vitali's the favourite, based on the somewhat suspect hand and wrist and fingers that we saw Levan against Ongarbayev. Not that there was any trouble there, but there was something there, outer straps, that we see something where it looked like his wrist isn't necessarily that imposing.
Yeah, but the latent strap game is brutal. Like, he just knows how to manipulate it and get that just such good contact with that with the strap.
Well,
top and
he's
bottom.
tall enough that he doesn't need to worry about battling this on anyone.
No.
Anyone.
No, he
just says,
he drops it down.
He says, "Here, have that. Go on, have that. Oh, guess what? Drag. What are you going to do about it?"
Yeah.
And as soon as that drag disconnects people, sideways is open. Nothing there. Again, this bloke I know how horrible it feels. He is the worst person in Australia to arm wrestle for me. I hate it.
And for me, and for him.
Yeah, it's just this guy knows how to deal with it. But
Used to be.
anyone at Jordan's weight knows how horrible it feels, so I firmly think Vitali's going to win.
Yeah, if Jordan goes through the same transformation as Vitali,
give me 110 kilos.
Right. Well, he's more than that. He's closer to 130 nowadays.
Yeah. But Jordan's not 6'9", so he's kind of could be Vitali.
But he's got the arm of someone that tall.
In the 100 kilo class, you could probably be a Vitali.
Yeah,
I'll do 110.
I might have some trouble with 110 kilo Jordan.
nasty. So what's the call? Who you guys going?
I'll go. I was about to say 5-1. I'll go 4-2.
To your man, to the big version of you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Easy.
Yeah. Yep. Tom?
Oh, man, I don't know. There is some kinks like you were talking about, but I think that kink wasn't what we saw was his hand opening, not his wrist bending.
Mm.
And I reckon that there was something said not to...
Yeah, there we okay.
Yeah,
Go on,
I don't
Tom.
know.
So we
Put
have
it on the line.
Maybe 4-2
2.
to the big boy.
To the big boy.
Yeah.
The big boy. Lockie?
I feel this might be unpopular, but I think it's going to be clean sweep, Leighton.
Yeah. I tend to think I'd lean with you more so than anything else. I don't think it will be clean, but it very well could be.
And the thing is even if he's told, hey, don't flash him, Leighton's just going to go.
Oh no! This is
This
is open.
Flash away.
They're swinging for the
I
fences.
think every round is swing for the fences.
Yeah, I think Leighton will get off first every time and just pummel him.
Yeah.
I think I don't think even Levan's going to be sore afterwards. He's just going to be.
Actually, now that I think about it, they were really strict on the wrists in that match with Levan, and I reckon his. Like, if he has to start dead straight and doesn't get anything, then it'll probably go closer to what you're saying. Definitely. If he doesn't get anything at all, then
put him in. Oh, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we might take a break. We're gonna cut back to some more pull a probe here, and then we'll be back after the break to talk about who's the number one arm wrestler in the world right now, because there is, of course, a man in this mix, Michael Todd, that we need to talk about as well, and a little bit of WAL v PAL All Stars, how that could possibly play out. All right, guys.
tuned.
See you soon.
Yeah. So, these zombies are like coming in on this surf.
Best impression.
I'm way too strong. And it's like crazy, and I don't know what to do. But all that matters is cup. Just keep cupping. What do you got? Is that what you want? I'm giving it all to you. Oh, you want to start there, do you? Let's go.
think this is the one. Yeah, this is the one.
No. Oh, you want me to try? Oh boy.
Ooh. Oh shit. Can I name the 8? So let's go. This would be random, I think.
My wife is setting me up on this one. She knows I don't know.
Earth, Neptune, Pluto, Uranus. Oh, this is terrible. I got a total mind freeze. No, I'm done. I'm totally gapping. There's one that starts with A.
Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus. Yeah. Oh, Pluto's a dwarf planet. No, it's a dwarf planet. Is it technically a planet? Neptune, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Venus, Uranus, Pluto. That's 8.
Alright, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Saturn, Jupiter, Neptune, Uranus.
Ready to go.
Alrighty, ladies and gents, we are back again. Another segment on the Pound for Pound Armwrestling show. We've talked about a lot tonight. We've covered the top 8, what happened, what will happen. But it's led to some questions that I think the arm wrestling world need to kind of address. And it's one of the most popular debates out there in truly who is the number one arm wrestler on the planet. We know that Lachlan Adair, you're taking the title, are you?
Yeah, he was, yeah.
Yeah, in the quiz, you backed yourself, didn't you?
Yeah.
As you saw him.
Yeah. But we've got, obviously, whoever wins out of Levan and Vitali, I think the world needs to see that person against Michael Todd from the WAL. I feel like Michael Todd is the number one at the moment out of North America. And a 6-round match between those guys could be huge. But not only that, Devon Larratt shared a post about a week ago suggesting an all-star WAL VPAL matchup. And some of the names, just imagine this. Imagine Michael Todd v. Levan Sanganishvili, Jerry Cadaret v. Vitaly Laletin, Devon Larratt v. Prudnik, Marcio Barboza vs. Kadecha, Todd Zilla vs. Ongarbayev, Matt Mask vs. Trubin, John Brzenk vs. Rustam Babayev, and so on and so on.
Wicked.
Yeah. How good would that be?
Yeah.
I think
I
that
would pay anything to
Oh, I
watch
would,
that.
yeah, me too.
That would, yeah.
I wouldn't be waiting
I'd
for
take
you
a week
to.
off. No.
Yeah.
like if that event could happen,
Yeah.
that determines who the best on the planet is right there.
Yeah, for real,
Legitimately.
because up until now, it's always been a panel of experts.
Yeah.
Would it be WAF or WAL rules?
That is obviously a big factor.
And
And
you'd have, I
Or
would
would
say,
it be each one of them, they have their matches in both?
three rounds with Bart Wood refereeing, and then 3 rounds with Zil Fadley refereeing.
yeah.
No. 6 rounds here and then 6 months' time, 6 rounds there.
Well, I think we should have it in Australia, so they're all travelling.
Straight up.
Tom, head ref, could you handle that sort of pressure?
Oh, man.
No problem.
No problem. But obviously the rule sets is an interesting talking point because I am personally over it. I've heard so many people in the last 3 months say WAL's ruining the sport, they're destroying the sport.
Whatever.
I think that's a load of rubbish. I think
Yeah.
they're very different, obviously.
Yeah.
Both, I think, organisations are the leading organisations globally, and they're both doing tremendous things. The fact that we had 11,000 for PAL is one thing. we just got 100 million views on Devon Larratt's match on the other side, and third-party sponsors very happy.
That trumps 11,000 somewhat.
So the money is being generated on both sides. The audience is growing immensely. So let's not have any division. We've seen division in the sport in the last 12 months with WAF and everything.
That's true, but it doesn't get over the problem of what would you do? Would you have a WAL table but have someone like Zill?
I think personally it'd have to be on a standard 7x7 pad. You can't use WAL's table.
Yeah, and
it's a little crazy, that table.
Yeah, and most people start on a traditional table, and the WL is quite new when we've got tradition that's been there for a long time.
There's not an arm wrestler on the planet that has never pulled on a 7x7.
And if you ask Michael Todd, he's probably quite happy to pull on a normal 7x7.
Regardless, as Devon said, the best are always just going to strive to whatever they have to work with. So whatever you set it as, it's still going to be a fair match because
I think the biggest factor is not necessarily the pads and that, but more just the way the matches tend to start and how strict the rules are on the elbow fouls and that. Because no doubt, one of the things I don't like about PAL is that a micro elbow foul is often very called. I don't even see the damn thing on as a viewer, and matches are stopped. That's disappointing. I would if I had to set the rules, I'd say PAL rules, but running fouls. That's it.
I think that's easier for the WOW pullers to go back to like a WAF, more traditional, stricter setup than it is for the Europeans to come over and have this, this fight before it's crazy. Even said go. Like we saw Gasparini just got thumped, and but if the argument is that if that was WAF, then we might have had a different outcome.
Do you think that? Do you think that would work? Running fouls but everything else as per PAL?
I think that's hard. As long as obviously shoulder carve, things like that are a part of PAL, then it's going to be a hard match for anyone regardless. If it's that strict, it's going to be great. I think one thing that I'd like to see, maybe not running fouls, but you could have the dome pads.
Oh, yeah.
So those micro elbow fouls won't be called because of the padding itself restricts that.
Or we can scrap going either or and go with a Leonard Harkless idea. Have you seen his pads?
The dished one.
No, he's just got a trim around the outside. So the elbow files are less likely to happen because when you can feel it as a puller, you can feel it. So, it might be a brand new set of rules that both people can agree on.
Again, Igor, if you want me to run it, happy to do it. Got a new facility on the way. But
might need a bigger one with those students.
I feel like it's a dream for the arm wrestling world to see such an event. It would crush every other event that's been out there.
You'd think so.
And we've seen it in every other sport, the East versus the West type thing. It's mega.
So you never know. If we all talk about it enough, they might just make it happen. So we can only dream, but let's go back to the focus question. Who's the number one in the world? Is it Michael Todd or is it one of these two Europeans? And who would win in that match? And it doesn't matter what set of rules we're talking about. Who would win that match? Okay, let's start with Levan. Can Michael Todd beat Levan?
Yes.
Why?
Endurance. Through the obviously on a WAF pad, Michael Todd can still operate his King's move. Yeah, he's
beaten Saplenkov on a WAF pad.
Exactly. And many others as well. Not to mention, but if he's still down there and Levan's going for it, Levan might get it in just brute force for the first one, maybe the first. But as we saw, Dave Chafee couldn't even.
And what's the disparity between Levan and Dave Chafee? Like they're both monsters.
They're both monsters. They're
both arm wrestle kind of similar.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's safe to assume that Levan is, let's just say, a notch above Chafee on power. He's just a bigger guy, but a very basic vector of just too big, too strong, and going sideways. I still
think Michael Todd would beat Levan for sure.
I reckon so too.
And even Leighton, that's a real contrasting style. Like he's all in top roll. What is he just going to be that brutal that Michael Todd just has his arm broken again and just snapped way open, or or has he got enough? Like the Leighton doesn't have a press. We
Question:
haven't seen it.
Is it 6 rounds?
Yes, 6
or
rounds.
Is it best of 5?
Six rounds.
Okay.
6 rounds.
Because that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
You were someone who mentioned before that you felt like Levan wasn't showing us everything he had. How do you think Levan and Michael would go?
I'm a fan of Michael's, and I think that he would. Watching when he was pulling against Devon and all the other guys, just that King's move and pulling it back up, and then with his wrist, I think he'd definitely get him. He'd pull him back again. And
I think so too. I would actually put Michael Todd.
Yeah.
To beat Leighton. I don't think Leighton has the tools.
Yep. He was talking about Levan.
Levan.
Oh, Levan.
Stay on Levan for a moment. You really want to talk about Leighton?
That's the next one, man.
Man crush.
For me, the Michael and Levan match is what I saw on Ngabayev. There was just cracks. If what you said was true, then maybe there isn't cracks. But if Levan was somewhat serious there on his hand effort, albeit catching, I saw weakness in the wrist and fingers just enough that I thought if that was Michael Todd in that position, there's no way he could pin Michael Todd. And Michael in the straps goes to another level. He's never had dramas finding his King's move. No one has forced Michael Todd into a hook ever since he's been a King's move arm wrestler. So Levan's not going to get him inside at all. He's going to have to drive sideways, and the closer he gets to the bottom, the more that wrist becomes suspect. And we know Michael will sit here all day. Unless there's a big press coming.
Reffing will probably go in Michael's favour, to be honest. Like if he's that far from the pad, it's not going to get called, and he can hang. So I think,
Does Levan have a press? Has anyone seen him press someone before?
Yeah, I've seen him. He tried to press Kavik Vinia.
Oh, yeah.
Did I do it?
Yeah, Gennady Kvikvinia.
I think he pressed him at a WAF, but I mean, we're talking like 3 or 4 years ago, and
so he's got it there if he needs to, but pressing Michael is a tough one.
Yeah.
Although Michael will be closer because of the pads, he won't be as far back. Off to the side.
Yeah. But anyway, I think
it'll be a great match.
That's a match. I think we're all in agreement that Michael would be the favourite in that match should it happen. Now we can talk about your one.
Well, I've already said it anyway.
What did you say?
I think Michael Todd would win.
You think he'd win?
Yeah. I don't think Leighton has a press unless his top roll is that brutal. He can just snap his arm open. But it's brutal. But Michael Todd's that's sticky.
Yeah. For me. I'm sitting on the fence on this one. I think it'd be Vitali's match to lose. I think he'd be the favourite. Just that 6'9" arm is a big deal to just King's move there. Michael's not going to force a hook. He's just going to rely on that, and he's going to be way under on his wrist. And Vitali's going to be swinging around. And depending on Vitali's table IQ against a King's move, I feel like that's what will determine it. If he just tries to bang through, Michael will probably win. But if he gets tall and starts doing this sort of stuff and just getting Michael way under there, it's all Vitali's.
I think Leighton would have the first 2, and then Michael would do him on the last 4. Yeah.
The 6 rounds does help Michael in all circumstances.
Yeah, it does.
What do you reckon, Jordan?
I can see it a 4-2 to Leighton.
Yep.
Okay.
Which rounds go to Michael?
The last 2. I think the fourth round is the round where Leighton runs out of steam, height. The height in the wrist still wears every time you go and surge. Like you've got to hit that angle right. Like when I met up with Crazy George, I found out how you do not want to attack someone, and if you try and use your height like I thought I could, it just backfires half the time. You've really got to play it smart and take depth more so than height.
Yeah. Well, the last person that Michael had a super match with on the PAL format, I believe, was Andrei Pushkar, and Andrei won 4-2 that day, but it was because Andrei had a genuine press that he went to, and he only just got it. It was a brutal match. It was a brutal match.
But that press was...
Yeah, it was...
Have you ever tried it?
It was like, I am willing to snap elbows and connect the
That's what it is. Every time. You tried his press at training? I've even tried the face.
Yeah.
It was and my elbow just.
Yeah. Well, Andre was an amazing arm wrestler in every respect.
Yeah.
But
I think we'd be talking about him number one.
Oh.
if he was
yeah,
still
well,
about.
he was number one left and right. I think at the time.
I think he'd still be number one.
I'm taking all the leg room over here. Tom's like, hang on, man.
Oxygen here, man.
I've crept in and pushed him out.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, it's like a cascade.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys.
But
I've got the table.
George's got
I'm
the
like, I
table.
can't escape.
Oh, goodness me.
Just put him under the table. He's heading there anyway. That's the future.
So, gents, wrapping up that point there, if Vitaly Lachlan beats Levan, it's likely that Vitaly is number one in the world. Where if Levan beats Lachlan, it's probably Michael Todd. Does that sound right? I know.
Nah, not for me.
You're Michael?
I think it,
Yeah, I mean, we all love to hate him, but I think I'd have him as number one.
I think it relies on dominance in the matches. So if Michael Todd really dominates Jerry, that shows what level he's at. I think if Leighton does the same to Levan, like if he absolutely monsters Levan doesn't get a shot, then that makes the match even more interesting.
Yeah, if he monsters Levan, I think we're at
Like, imagine
the
if-
Leighton and Michael Todd.
Yeah,
right
imagine
here.
if Levan doesn't even get his hand in it.
Yeah,
Like how crazy is that to think that what he would do and it's on a 7x7 to Michael Todd. That I think that would assert dominance for sure in my books.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because under no circumstance can I imagine Levan as number one right now.
no.
It's funny because he is the popular opinion. Like just a month ago, the polls were out. Levan number one, left and right.
I think in a few more years.
Yeah,
But,
he'll
then
keep
again,
getting bigger.
Leighton, at this point, he's just got to get smarter. But
Yeah.
Leighton's still young.
Yep.
And he's just getting better. Well, he's getting bigger. He's already a better arm wrestler, in my opinion, technically.
And until someone taller than him comes along, he doesn't need to have.
Until Hafthor
develop any-
Bjornsson decides to take arm wrestling seriously.
Yeah, wouldn't that be good?
Yeah.
Hafthor Bjornsson
Brian
coming in, legitimately understanding the sport and how to move. Yeah, that'd be
Love
amazing.
to undertake that training.
That'd be amazing.
Training around arm wrestling.
volunteer as the sparring partner.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you'd have to stand to the side. That guy, any inkling of table smarts and
Yeah,
I don't want to go near him.
Oh, gents, but I think we'll wrap that topic up there, and I think it's something that we may never get to see it, but I hope and pray that Steve Kaplan allows Michael Todd to go over there, because I don't think that we're certainly never going to see Levan Sanganishvili in the WAL. That's for sure. Yep. It's not going to happen. But there's a very good chance we see Michael Todd at a PAL event.
He's been there many times before.
Exactly.
So
So I don't know what the contracts are like.
The WAL, by having the undisputed number one. I mean, that it's a gamble, but that would.
Anyway, cut a deal, you lot. Cut a deal. We all want to see it. All right. Anyway, Jess, we're going to wrap up the show now with our traditional way of doing it. We're going to give away another T-shirt. Now, we've still got Loren in. So the way that this works, if you are a Pound for Pound arm wrestling supporter on Facebook, you're in the draw, and once your name gets put in there, you might have to, even if you take a few losses, you're going to stay in the draw until you win yourself a prize.
lucky.
We're giving away another T-shirt this week. And
Hopefully I'm not representing you again.
we have the short forks. They've been stabbing me in the.
Short forks this time.
Yeah,
is it?
it's short forks. Oh, there's only 3 there. Hang on, there's one more. Hey, there we go. All right,
It's with the car keys.
So our second contestant in tonight's draw is none other than Australia's Daryl Puri.
Oh.
Pu'iri. Yeah,
Pu'iri.
you got it.
So it's like
You just need to put a bit of fully on it, and you're good.
Fully sick, mate.
it's like sounds like Tweety Bird saying "putty tat" or whatever. Anyway, gents,
better than Puri.
sorry now.
Yeah.
All right, so gents, we're going to draw short forks, and first one will be for.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah, what do we got?
You don't actually have to draw it. Like, what's going on? We should get Sarah to hold these.
Well, I'm
And
just
then
going to be
we
the
all
last one. So, look.
Yeah, but you always, then you're out of it. You're like,
No, I got in it last week.
yeah, but that was rigged.
All right. Well, do you want to go first? You got do you want,
I'll go first.
hey, well, you can see
I
the.
saw that.
You gotta
hold both hands
my
up.
head control's not good. All right, pick one. Pick one. First one you touch.
Okay, this first one right here.
Oh, you're in the match! Tom is in and Tom has got Loren.
Lachlan's going to draw.
Who wants to draw
shuffling.
next?
That's like, all right, I'll draw.
No,
Because I
man.
drew last time.
All right.
Oh, I'm not even going to look.
Just first one you touch.
No.
Middle, he's got a little bit. Oh! George.
Skipped it again today. I'm sore as. I'm quite happy.
Dude,
I should
not have gone to the gym before this.
Finger fork. Bloody man, yes. Look at Tom. I've been dreading a match with Tom forever. Oh, so I got Daryl Tweety Bird for Tweety.
Yeah, and who have I got?
You got Lauren.
Sorry,
Lancaster, I think it is.
Lauren, you're not going to win. Man. I'm telling you.
This will be fun. Oh, look. Nothing's
I'll give
certain.
it. It's going to snap. I promise.
But how funny would it be if Lauren just kept on sticking around as the loser for the whole season?
She'd be eagerly watching the end of every show.
Anyway, let's go do it. We're gonna have an arm wrestle. I'm taking on Tom for the t-shirt. All right, guys.
Here we go.
All right, guys. This hurt my arm last week more than any other arm wrestle. Cold.
Oh, I'm glad because mine hurt so hard.
Cold's legit ready to go. It was like, oh my god.
I'm completely worn out. So
I'm just wondering how
this
long
guy
I can
is
dodge
gonna
it.
Annihilate me.
I'm sore.
All right.
I gotta go to the toilet.
We got no chalk either. Come on, Daryl.
What's the lady's name again?
Lauren.
It's Lauren.
It's a man.
Loren.
Oh, it's Lauren.
Oh, Lauren.
Like Lorenzo, yeah. But not.
Is that Lorenzo from the Alpha guys?
No. This is Lauren.
Lauren. Okay. I apologise.
I've been dreading this match for so long.
I don't want this.
Alright, guys. Take a grip.
Here we go. Oh. I'm just gonna
First script.
start. No, not yet. How many seconds have we got? Here we go. Alright, here we go.
Skip the rope.
Alright, here we go. Alright, first group, set your shoulders. There, in a little bit, sweet. Oh, you're gonna be difficult. Alright, Alright, open your hands.
This tall bugger.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna bring you into middle, alright? Middle's here. So both meet me. Alright? Ryan, come
I'm
up.
touching your finger. I met you.
Tom, down.
Oh, well, I'm touching this one.
Right there. That's good. Alright.
Ref,
Tom, you just...
He's pushing my hand.
That's on me.
We've got to come Ryan's way. Yeah.
Alright, so we gotta go that way, Tom.
Yeah.
Yep, there we go. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Right there. Alright. Close
Ryan, get your elbow on the pad.
Close your thumbs.
Ryan.
Just thumbs.
Oh.
Oh, it's creeping.
That's good. How's wrist? Wrist good? Lachlan?
Yeah, they're good.
Alright, close your hands. Go!
Oh,
Oh, what a surprise!
That hurts.
I'm not holding on to that out of straps.
Alright,
I tested. I'm like, yeah, no way. I'm not holding on to that.
I don't even
I got
try.
the buckle again.
Yeah, you got the buckle. Ryan's going all out on the other
I'm
back.
changing tactics. I could feel that loss.
Bullshit.
Let's bring it back to the middle.
That's his camera. I reckon it was
Right there.
organised.
Right there.
In typical Ryan style.
I could dead set feel the loss.
Stop fighting me.
No one's fighting you,
No
man.
one's fighting anything.
You two are as bad as each other.
Come on, Daryl. Come on, Daryl.
What's going on here?
Would you
what
stop
shittiness?
freaking... I can... Look at this guy. He's cheating. I go, just do it fair, man.
If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
That's true.
Cheat hard.
I'm just glad I'm not.
You know how you can tell when Ryan's serious? Look at his face. Look at his face.
Yeah.
Look at like, he's no smiling, no nothing. He's just, he's just
He's
eyeballing. He's eyeballing from the
A
side.
few seconds in Ryan's life, he's quiet. It's just before he actually cares about.
I don't need it any time.
Open.
Oh, we really come Ryan's way a lot.
Yeah,
We're still getting the strap on.
Yeah.
Alright.
Oh, yeah.
Shoulders.
Yeah.
Shoulders. Shoulder. Alright, that looks good. Center's Ryan's way. Tom, you gotta come forward. Ryan, you gotta move back when Tom comes forward. Alright, that's middle. That looks good. Good wrist? Yeah? Sweet. Alright, close your thumbs, you've already done it. Close your hands. Go!
Lauren! Too strong. There it is. Oh, I can tell you the hook wasn't going to work either. I can feel that. I'm like, no, I got to go to the roll. Oh, yeah, sorry, Daryl. Sorry, Daryl.
Hey, but
And
Lauren,
you're in it
Lauren
next week,
won
Daryl. And Lorena, congratulations. Not
Congratulations.
There we go. Good stuff. All right, gents. Thank you so much for the show. Lockie, there you are. Oh, the signature sign-off's back. Okay, oh, gee, nice. All right. Next week. Oh, yeah, next week. Make sure you don't miss it. Todd Hutchins, the Side Pressure King, will be in here. Man, Daryl, you want to draw? I think we'll just rig it. We'll give the short straw to Todd no matter what. But anyway, who gets to face that man?
Yes, that's a bet!